Hey everybody, and welcome to the Cardboard Dungeons review of the Imperial Veterans expansion for X-Wing. My name is Pat. Let's talk about some TIE Defenders and TIE Bombers. Like Imperial Aces and Rebel Aces before it, Imperial Veterans aims to revitalize older ships and bring them back into competitive level play. Before I get started, I need to point out that I've previously reviewed both the TIE Bomber and TIE Defender individual expansions. I won't be covering maneuver dials or spending a lot of time discussing the stat lines, actions, or upgrades on these ships. If you want to get more info, check out those reviews. You get one TIE Bomber and one TIE Defender in Imperial Veterans, each with a fresh coat of paint to distinguish them from the previous versions of these ships. The TIE Bomber is still standard Imperial gray, but features the double white stripes of Gamma Squadron on its panels, while the Defender is painted the bright red of Glaive Squadron. Let's jump right in, starting with the TIE Bomber pilots. Tomax Bren has a pilot skill of 8 and costs 24 points. His ability is so good that if it appeared on most other ships in the game, it might be considered broken. Once per round, after discarding an elite upgrade, he can flip it back over. For Tomax Bren, cards like Crack Shot can be used every single round instead of once per game. It's an amazing ability that's mitigated by the fact that he's flying a TIE Bomber. I'd love to see someone put together a build that really capitalizes on Tomax's strengths. With Crack Shot and Guidance Chip Assisted Ordnance firing early in the round, he could be a powerful first strike against a key enemy ship. However, I feel like the cost of outfitting him to take full advantage of this means you'll be spending 30 plus points on a TIE Bomber. Still, I can see him being fun to play around with. Deathfire has a pilot skill of 3 and costs 17 points. When he reveals his maneuver dial, or after performing an action, he can perform a bomb action as a free action. This is a good ability if you want to include a versatile bomber in your squadron, and being able to choose when to drop your bombs can be very powerful, especially since he can execute a maneuver and then barrel roll before dropping cluster mines or a counter net right in front of an enemy ship. There are 2 copies of Gamma Squadron Veteran, the only non-unique TIE Bomber pilot in this expansion. With a pilot skill of 5 and a cost of 19 points, and most importantly, the ability to take an elite upgrade, this will probably become the staple TIE Bomber for competitive play. Gamma Squadron Veteran, with Crack Shot, Plasma Torpedoes, extra munitions, and guidance chips, comes in at 25 points, which means that you can get a couple of them into a squadron and still have 50 points to play around with. Moving on to the TIE Defender pilots, we get a blast from the past. Marek Steele first appeared in X-Wing all the way back in Wave 1's TIE Advanced expansion. He's now the second pilot in the game to appear on 2 different kinds of ships, Harrison Dula being the first. He has a pilot skill of 7 and costs 35 points. He can take an elite upgrade. His ability hasn't changed. When he deals a face-up damage card, you get to draw 3 and choose which one to inflict upon the enemy ship. It's a solid ability that was made better in his TIE Advanced incarnation when they added the X1 title and advanced targeting computer to the game, and it's still good on the TIE Defender because it can equip a Mangler cannon to increase the odds of getting a critical hit. Or in both cases, you can pair Steele with Palpatine and give him a guaranteed critical every round. Countess Ryad costs 34 points and has a pilot skill of 5. She can take an elite upgrade as well. Her ability lets her treat her revealed straight maneuvers as if they were K-turns. You thought the TIE Defender's natural white Speed 4 K-turn was good? How about green K-turns at speeds 2, 3, 4, or 5? Push the Limit seems like a good fit on Ryad, since she can take 2 actions and then clear the stress during the next round while choosing the perfect speed to K-turn and stay in the fight. Throw in the Twin Ion Engine Mark II and she has a choice of 10 different green maneuvers to clear that stress. There are 2 copies of Glaive Squadron Pilot, a new non-unique with a pilot skill of 6 and a cost of 34 points. They can take an elite upgrade and, like all non-unique pilots, have no special ability. Moving on to the upgrades, there are quite a few cards that we've seen before, so I won't go into great detail on them again in this video. There's a copy of Crack Shot. It's also found in the Houndstooth and Kirax Fighter expansions. For 1 point, You can discard Crackshot to cancel one evade result during an attack. It's a very powerful card that's been getting a lot of play lately in conjunction with Black Squadron Pilot TIE Fighter swarms. Tractor Beam first appeared in the Mist Hunter expansion. This 1-point cannon rolls 3 dice at ranges 1 to 3, and on a hit cancels all dice results but temporarily reduces the defender's agility by 1, and against a small ship allows the attacker to reposition the defender via a forced Speed 1 barrel roll or boost. Systems Officer is a new crew upgrade with a cost of 2 points. It's Imperial only as well as limited, which means that you can only equip one on a ship, even if it has multiple crew slots. After executing a green maneuver, you can choose another friendly ship at range 1 to acquire a target lock. 2 things of note in the wording of this card. First, another friendly ship means that Systems Officer can't affect his own ship. Second, and more interesting, is that acquire a target lock means that it's not an action. This means that the ability will work on a friendly ship with stress, which would, for example, allow you to give a target lock to a squad mate who just executed a red maneuver. We've seen cluster mines twice before, in the TIE Punisher and Ghost expansions. It costs 4 points and lets you drop a large 3-part token set onto the board, each part of which explodes and can cause damage to any ship that flies over it. It's very nasty and fun to use, and it's great to see more ways to get these since extra munitions has been a thing in the game for a while. In fact, because of extra munitions, Fantasy Flight really should include a pair of tokens for every bomb upgrade card that creates a persistent obstacle on the board. Right now, this includes proximity mines, cluster mines, and Connor Net. Speaking of, there's another copy of proximity mines here as well. We've seen this bomb previously in the Slave 1 and IG 2000 expansions. It costs 3 points and lets you drop a large token on the board, which detonates when any ship flies through it. Long Range Scanners is a new modification with a cost of 0 points. You get 2 copies in this expansion. It allows you to acquire target locks on ships at range 3 and beyond, but disables your ability to acquire them at ranges 1 and 2. You can only equip it if your ship has both torpedo and missile upgrade slots. This is a good tool for setting up powerful ordnance volleys, since you can get a target lock on round 1 when ships are out of attack range, which sets you up for a focused target lock attack to maximize damage. The biggest issue here is that once the furball starts, it can be difficult to break away to range 3 again if you need to reacquire a target lock. Also, as a modification, this upgrade competes with guidance chips, which has been by far the best addition to the game for bringing missiles and torpedoes back onto the table. Still, this is a solid card, and I've read some compelling statistical breakdowns that argue for long-range scanners granting a slight damage increase versus guidance chips. Now let's talk about the really good stuff, the new titles for the TIE Bomber and TIE Defender. There are 2 copies of each of these titles in the expansion. TIE Shuttle is a TIE Bomber title with a cost of 0 points. It removes all missile, torpedo, and bomb upgrade icons from the ship and adds 2 crew icons, with the requirement that any equipped crew cards cannot cost more than 4 points each. In other words, no gunners, and most importantly, no Palpatine. He will not lower himself to ride in a converted TIE Bomber. This is an interesting title that fundamentally changes the role of a TIE Bomber by turning it into a low-cost support shuttle. It lets you get a ship into your squadron that can play the same kind of role as the Lambda-class shuttle, with the key differences being lower cost and improved maneuverability. TIE Bombers certainly aren't the most maneuverable ships in the game, but they're able to stay in formation with many other small ships much easier than the Lambda shuttle. This is important since one of the best uses I've seen for the TIE Shuttle title is to throw in a systems officer and a fleet officer, giving you a ship that can hand out focus tokens and target locks to its squad mates every round. Even better, if you use the cheapest TIE Bomber, the Scimitar Squadron Pilot, this build comes in at 21 points, which is the same cost as the cheapest Lambda-class shuttle pilot. TIE X7 is a TIE Defender title with a cost of -2 points. It removes the cannon and missile upgrade icons from your upgrade bar and lets you assign an evade token to your ship after executing any speed 3, 4, or 5 maneuver. This is a great card for several reasons. First, the negative point cost directly addresses one of the big complaints about the TIE Defender. They're too expensive. The cheapest pilot is 30 points and has a pilot skill of 1. 30 points in X-Wing is ace territory, typically reserved for veterans with amazing abilities and high pilot skill, such as Wedge Antilles, Darth Vader, or Talonbane Cobra. Second, TIE Defenders are one of only a handful of ships in the game, with agility values of 3 but no evade action on their action bar. Giving them access to a free evade token in addition to their normal action helps increase their survivability a great deal. There are 8 possible maneuvers on the TIE Defender's dial that will trigger this ability, including the white Speed 4 K-turn. When I've played using this title, my TIE Defenders have had evade tokens on almost every single round, and the effect is very noticeable. They were much harder to destroy. The free evade token combined with a focus action makes your defense rules very strong. Where the TIE X7 title focuses on improved defenses, the TIE D title goes in the opposite direction, turning the TIE Defender into an offensive monster. This title costs 0 points and lets you perform a primary weapon attack after performing an attack with a cannon that costs 3 points or less. Right now, there are 3 cannons in the game that fit these criteria: Ion Cannon, Flechette Cannon, and Tractor Beam. All 3 of these do little or no damage with their attacks, but inflict powerful controls against their targets. In the competitive scene, players have steered away from using these cannons because using them meant giving up an attack with a primary weapon or heavy-hitting secondary weapon. This title lets you make 2 attacks back-to-back, starting with the cannon that can give stress, ion, or tractor beam tokens to the defender, and following it with the TIE Defender's solid 3 attack dice primary weapon. The benefits are immediately apparent. For one, you're forcing the defender to think about when to spend focus and evade tokens. Does he spend them to avoid the status effect from the cannon, knowing that his ship will be more likely to suffer damage from the follow-up primary attack? Or does he take the status effect and hold the tokens in hopes of avoiding damage? Either scenario is a win for the TIE Defender, since a landed cannon hit will cripple the defender and make it easier to hit later, while having the cannon attack nullified by defensive tokens means your primary weapon will have a better chance to score hits. This is a great card with no drawbacks. Unlike almost every other effect in the game that allows for multiple attacks in a single round, there's no trade-off here. Corran Horn can attack twice, but then gives up his attack during the next round. IG-88B lets you attack with a cannon after making an attack, but only if that attack missed. Likewise with Gunner and the crew version of Luke Skywalker. Dengar can counterattack, but only if an opposing ship within his arc attacks him first. The TIE D title lets you make 2 full attacks with all of the benefits of each on every single turn. It turns the TIE Defender into a terrifying, offensive powerhouse that can inflict control effects as well as heavy damage onto its targets. It's truly an amazing title. Really, both of the TIE Defender titles are crazy good. Okay, that's Imperial Veterans. Will it get TIE Bombers and TIE Defenders back into competitive play? I think that it will. It gives both ships some much-needed tools to optimize their options as well as play new roles in their squadrons.